All right, guys, other Browns free agency news. We mentioned it earlier, but the Browns are going to cut Dalvin Tomlinson as a post-June 1st cut, saving them about $6.4 million. They have more money to spend in cash. I wanted to mention that the Browns do have opportunities and avenues to open up even more cap space if they so wish. They have not done that yet, but they do have the ability to open up and generate more cap space. So, G, thoughts on cutting Dalvin Tomlinson and what's next for the Browns in free agency? Are they done making moves, or is there still stuff to get done?
Now, my man Tyvis is over here. He's already anticipating what I'm coming with on this one.
Hey,
now, look,
we already talked about it.
Here's what I would like to say. As a defensive tackle / defensive end who's played multiple years with my hand in the dirt, body beaten and bruised up, I'm going to let you guys know that I know that there's the thing that says you win the game in the trenches.
It's a fact.
You win the game in the trenches.
Fact.
But that's if you got everything else. You got to have defensive ends. You got to have linebackers. You got to have corners that can cover. And my thing is this. When you got 2 down linemen like Dalvin Tomlinson, those guys are very important. But, Bull, if you can't give me anything in terms of the pass rush, if you can't be a 3-down lineman just like linebackers, you got to be a 3-down linebacker, Tyvis, to get paid.
Who played? When is it 8?
Why 3 down? You can't be no run stuffing the linebacker and get that bag.
Yeah, they can.
No.
That happens all the time.
The best linebackers, no, you can't. Box safeties don't get paid.
Not no more they don't. So Cam Chancellor didn't get paid?
That's back. You talk about.
That's what I said. Not no
a
more
while ago.
That's a minute ago.
Yeah.
So when we look at the D tackles, I hope people realize this. Not all of them are created equally. Dalvin Tomlinson was a 2-gap guy. He was a guy that was going to help stop the run. But they didn't really stop the run, though. They really didn't stop the run.
He was fine,
he
but
was
he
cool.
wasn't worth spending that money.
That was crazy.
Wait a minute.
It was a crazy bag of money he got.
First of all, when we needed him, the season we were coming off of, we had to do that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why
saying it was a terrible
and
move.
then it was coming to Cleveland, so it wasn't like the greatest option. So they had to overpay for that position.
Sure.
You can't deny the fact that in the 2 seasons that he was at, the run stop has been better than what it was before he got here.
Well, it was the first year.
Yeah.
I'm not killing Dalvin Tomlinson. It was time to move on, though.
I'm not saying that. I'm
it.
not saying it ain't.
Well, we're not. I don't think G's saying it was a terrible move, but
G out of line.
I'm just putting it in a perspective for y'all. The way I say it.
I don't like the way that you sit here talking about the game ain't won in the trenches.
No,
it coming from you.
It is one in the trenches, but the thing is, that's too black and white. That is too.
Well,
that is too
that's
stark.
the problem with the world. Y'all want a gray area.
But the gray area is this. Yes, Dalvin Tomlinson, you do need to start up front in the trenches. However, you need a guy that can be a 3-down guy. And in terms of giving big time money out, you need to do all 3. You need to stop the run, and I need you to get after the quarterback. He just was not that guy.
They brought him here because he filled a need that they needed.
right, we get it. But going forward,
But moving forward,
especially with all the
Okay, so y'all got an answer to replace this?
no. So here's
That's my question.
My answer to replacing one was look. So if you would have hit on Perrion Winfrey, you wouldn't need to spend that money.
That's a fact.
you need a cheaper option.
If Siaki Ika won the 3rd-round pick and never played, you wouldn't have to spend that bag.
That's why they got Siaki.
Tommy
because
Togiai.
they thought.
Tommy Togiai. You see where we going with
We
it?
ain't doing that.
When you miss,
we ain't doing no Buckeye slander on this show.
but when you
Billy
miss,
Price, he stinks.
when you miss,
stop
like
that.
think about it. Right now, they got 2 older, 3 older guys, right?
Yeah.
Ethan Poaches is at center, right? I thought he had a bad year last year. Now, if Luke Whippler hits,
Go Bucks.
we ain't got to worry about that. We just
Well, I mean, that's why they traded. He got hurt last year, so they had to bring in Nick Harris.
yes, and he's a fullback.
Yes.
He's a fullback.
What happened to him? Did he play last year?
Only in Cleveland. Only in Cleveland do you.
Speaking of which, do you want Kyle Juszczyk? Should we bring him back to Ohio?
Bring him back.
We don't use fullbacks. So.
Zach Zenner. Hey, look. You got 2 older aging guards. Yes, you win in the trenches, but it's about the evaluations of who these guys are.
Listen, at the end of the day, what I'm going to tell you is the reason this team took a step back last year is because that D-line didn't play to the potential that they played.
Including him?
Including him.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
I
the
agree.
thing. And generally...
I'm not saying y'all wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying...
He don't like the way I said it.
I don't like the way
And at
G
the
said
time,
it.
I get what you're saying, but generally, spending big money on non-pass rushing defensive tackles is not worth it over the long haul.
Well, I think that they were doing it where they wanted to have one guy that was a run stopper and pair him with the pass rusher. That's why they got a Mike Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, you have both.
Well, now they got to find a cheaper option at that spot.
Yeah, so what's next in free agency? Tomlin's gone. They opened up
Draymond
the
Jones
I wouldn't mind
is a
him.
great defensive tackle, very athletic guy from the city of Cleveland. I talked to him, and he said, we'll see.
I like
Talk to him yesterday?
I talked to him like yesterday.
Okay.
We'll see.
Is he talking to the Browns or no?
We'll see.
He wouldn't give you a straight what's obviously the Browns, well, not obviously, but I think they're going to still add another quarterback. We've talked about that. I don't think they're going to do anything in free agency at running back. I think that's going to be the draft.
No, they're going to bring Nick Chubb back.
By the way, look.
So everybody can just.
Listen, I hope you're right, because I was so
They're going to let him
about
go
that.
out and find the price that they're going to.
That doesn't make any sense.
And they're going to say, you know what, we'll give you.
Here's why I don't buy that.
$2 million, we'll give you $2 million.
Here's why I don't buy that. Because the price is going to be low enough that they should have just paid him $5 million.
Because look at the price right now.
Yeah.
If the price was high, he would have got signed first day.
There's no rumblings on Nick Chubb at all.
We've heard nothing.
It doesn't mean nothing's happening, but we've heard nothing.
Maybe nobody will sign him, and then he can come. The Browns.
I hear you, but the Browns shouldn't let it get to that. Why let it get to that over so little money?
It's business.
Shouldn't be. Not with that guy.
It's business.
Well,
strictly business.
Well, in that case,
it's not personal.
Watch this.
Well, then if it's business, why you bring him back at all?
Well, you might need, or you might. It depends on how this draft shake out.
Hey.
You might not get the guy you want.
if it's just business, I don't hear nobody say Myles Garrett. You said you were gonna. Why'd you get this? No, you said it's business.
I told you.
It's business, right?
Because whoever said that, you know what you tell them? Somebody put $40 million in your face a year, and you tell me you turned it down.
$40 million. Give me 400,000 pennies.
Actually, Tyvis, I don't really think it's about the Browns offering him $40 million. I've taken Myles Garrett off the hook because he came to the realization of two things.
He wasn't going to get traded.
He was not going to get traded, and he clearly wasn't willing to hold out. So once he came to those realizations, what choice did he have? The $40 million this is going to sound crazy, but let me finish.
No, please.
The $40 million from the Browns is irrelevant, and here's why. Because if he would have gotten traded, other teams would have paid him $40 million too. You don't trade for Myles Garrett, and you're not prepared to pay him $40 million.
He'd have got that money.
He would have gotten that money. Obviously, not every team would pay that, but any team that was going to try to trade for him would pay that.
I don't know if that's really that true. Maybe they don't have $40 million to pay.
But then you're not going to trade for Myles Garrett.
Right.
You know he's
Yes,
going to
you
want
are.
No, because you know he's going to want to get paid.
If you came back and you said, you know what, we are Myles Garrett away from a Super Bowl, you would take that 1 year and go for that.
But if Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett doesn't have a trade, no trade.
Well, now he does.
Now he does. But
he got it in his contract.
Yeah, he got the no trade. Now.
All right, Myles, way to go.
Hey, he got. Listen, bro. Look, trust me. People will be G. Bush. You was wrong about what you said. You said he was not. I said, bro, listen. I just told people I was never getting married after I got half my stuff took. And guess what? I got married. I'm 5 years in, and they didn't give me $40 million to do it.
That's right. That's right. In the end, he was like, well, they're not going to trade me. I don't want to hold out because I want to play. Okay, $40 million. That sounds fair.
Now, Nick Chubb, come on, man. Just give him the little measly $2 million, bro.
It's business.
Man,
Do we think the Browns
we got to see what we can do in free agency first.
Who does whatever list has his best free agents left on the board?
Right.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I made a graphic. Steve, give me 2 seconds.
I figured you would.
Look at you, McNuggets. Just
I know.
always prepared.
I should have had it ready.
By the way, I just went like this as if I was passing you the ball, but that's a shot. I was
going to say, that was a push shot.
That was
disgusting.
bad shot.
If that's how you shoot a basketball and we played, I would never pass you the ball.
Dude, that's rude to not pass me the ball.
If you shoot like that, it's not going to do any good for us.
I have said more than one time that I am maybe the worst shooter in the history of basketball.
We got to view it.
I have made this clear. I've never tried to pretend I'm any good at basketball.
The fact that Earl can't play basketball, it just don't sit well with me.
But not every black guy is good at basketball.
His daughter never plays basketball. How does he not
get
know
her
how to
skills from
play?
him. I don't know.
So, Bull, I made this graphic
That's
this
crazy,
morning.
too.
Since I made it, Javon Hargrave has signed with the Vikings, so he's off the
Okay.
board. He's headed to Minnesota. According to CBS, these were their top remaining
My
free
boy
agents
Jay
after
Reed.
yesterday.
I'm not really
You
interested
ain't
in any of
no
those
cop,
guys.
Jay Reed.
Is Stephon Diggs washed?
He's coming off the torn
Well,
ACL.
he some little case. He might have a case. So you know what I'm saying.
Who knows with him?
Messing around with these
some
heat.
girl
I
claiming
just don't-
some stuff.
the
You
Browns
know what I'm
need-
saying?
I think
you can not right now in Cleveland.
He
right
be
now.
in the streets a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't have the Browns got to like buckle down at least
Yeah.
temporarily on character.
Yeah,
They
like,
gotta buckle down.
Hey, listen, and I ain't been one of those guys. Look,
Yeah.
see, I'm growing. I'm just trying to show my growth here. Listen, at least
Right
for
now.
3 years. Right now,
Right
3
now.
years. We going
Yeah,
just a couple years. We going.
I mean, he would be great if without all that. It'd be great. But
Yeah.
nah.
And he's never happy. Wherever he goes, he hates it. He was miserable in Minnesota, then he got
Yeah.
miserable in Buffalo. He's miserable playing with Josh Allen. He was the clear number one guy.
He got
Said
him.
Josh just wasn't getting it done.
He's not Antonio Brown angry.
No, not that level, but
I'll be confused. I'm like, Stephon Diggs, they're throwing you the ball every other play. Why are you upset, my man?
yeah, I don't.
They ain't winning.
I mean,
What do you
but
mean they weren't winning?
Well, I mean, but if you, he's going
ring.
he's going to the AFC Championship. He got one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah.
Just sit there and
Stephon Diggs. You know, I come to the realization that
Yeah.
if I played quarterback in the NFL, I would want to play in the NFC.
Well, all the best quarterbacks in the
Yeah,
AFC.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's why Washington.
That's ridiculous.
Why do you think Washington's gone buck wild this offseason with trading free
How
agency?
is it that one conference has 7 of the top 8 quarterbacks in the
hold
NFL?
on.
It ebbs
that
and
makes
flows.
But
no
the,
sense
the,
to me.
the NFC used to be worse. In the NFC, you had the 49ers.
Back in the day.
Back in
Cowboys.
the day. So you went for the 49ers, went from Montana
To Steve
Young.
Yep.
They had Troy Aikman was over there moving around. Even in the late 90s, they had Kurt Warner. They had
Well, the whole NFC
Giants,
East
the
was
whole
great
NFC
for a
East.
while.
The Eagles
You know,
had McNabb.
The Washington had that great run for a while with
Mark-
Theismann.
Right, they had Mark Rippon and
The NFC used to. There was a stretch where the NFC was winning the Super Bowl almost every year.
Yeah, we didn't have nothing.
Remember the Bills would go to the Super Bowl every year to get their ass kicked in the Super Bowl?
Right.
But this is
No matter who it
ridiculous.
was.
Yeah.
Bull. How can you be an AFC team and expect your quarterback to come in and beat three of
It's tough.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar,
and Burrow.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's ridiculous.
So hold on.
Justin Herbert,
Tape this.
CJ
round.
Stroud.
So okay, tape this moment.
Yeah.
Mark it right down. Tyvis just keeps proving me right, and we just got done talking about 2 down defensive tackles.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro.
Get 75 of them and put them up front and see if
All
you
right,
win.
let's